morning.
Good morning, my brother.
How are you, bro?
I'm amazing, brother. How about yourself?
Same.
I don't know if I could be
Busy,
better
busy,
besides
busy,
maybe
but
playing
same.
pickleball.
Right. George says that he's hurting right now, so he hasn't been able to play. So
Yeah, I talked to him yesterday, man, and yeah, he told me he was messed up big time.
yeah, he was telling me that he hurt his back and yeah, so
The
haven't been able
Saturdays
to
flared
play.
up.
It sucks because
Yeah,
every time I put it in the group chat, everybody's like, "No, they haven't responded." So I'm like, okay. I like playing, man. It helps with cardio and
probably
man,
just
the
helps
last
that little competitive, thing we have inside of us get it out a
yes.
little bit. You get a little
Exactly.
fitness. It feels
Ex-
good, man. Like honestly, and it's not so taxing in the body. Honestly, that's the
Exactly.
best part.
Exactly. Exactly.
Man, I appreciate you. What you got going on today?
I got a workout with a kid that I'm training today, and then I got practice later on with the girls from Elite, and then I got to work on
Nice.
the playbook, bro. I'm trying to put the playbook together for my college kids so that they can start memorizing stuff. But
Dope. Yeah, man. When
I've
do you go
been
back up?
after Germany, so I'll head back up probably like the 21st or something like that of
Okay.
August.
And you stay there for the rest of the year, or how do you go about that?
Yeah. I'll stay there the entire fall. I'll come back for Christmas. Then I go
Nice.
back up for the New Year and the season, and then I'll come back in May.
Dope, bro.
Yeah,
It's so awesome you're doing that, right?
yeah, bro. It's cool, dude. I'm not gonna lie, it's cool, but
Hell yeah.
it's a lot of
It's
work.
work. It's work. It's
Yeah,
still work,
yeah.
man.
It
But
is.
it's
It
one of those
is.
things that it's like you wake up with not the feeling of, oh, I gotta go to work today.
Right,
Even though I'm
right.
sure
It's
there's some days you're tired and mentally
yes,
exhausted, but it's
but
not
it's not the
that
nine
that
to
pain.
it's not
Yeah.
the 9 to 5. It's not the 9 to 5
Yeah.
same rhetoric. You know what I'm saying? Like I get to
Yes, sir.
wake up
Yeah,
and
I
do
do.
something different.
Hell yeah, man.
My days consist of just whatever I'm doing that day. If I got early meetings, I'm getting up early. If I don't have early meetings, I'm getting up later in the morning.
Yeah.
It's just different, dude. It's different. It's different. I manage my own hours. The school's not on me about you got to be at the school from this time to this time. They're like, as long as you show up to meetings and you're on time, as long as you're doing everything with your kids and you're available for them,
Yep.
we don't care. So
That's sick, bro. I love that. Bro, I'm so excited everything is happening and the fact that you have an awesome, I would say you have an awesome career life. You have a good thing going, man. And I love watching you what you do with your girl, man. That's so awesome, bro. Like seriously, the
yeah,
fact that you're coaching your daughter is like,
yeah, it is.
I
It
mean,
is
obviously I've
cool.
known you for years and I've seen you play with her and like train
Right.
her since she was a baby, man. So it's so
Yeah,
awesome to see
yeah.
where you guys are and bro, it's super awesome, man. Honestly,
Yeah,
dude.
and that's when I say, we got to play in this tournament recently, and it's that playground format where I get to play
Yeah.
quarterback and just throw it to the girls,
Yeah.
and just to be able to do that with her and play with her, like I don't really get excited to play as much as I used to, but
Of
I
course.
but I do get hella excited to be able to play with her and the rest of the girls because there are a lot
Yeah.
of kids that I train and they were part of our program, and I get to play with them and throw them passes, and it's just cool, man. It's
It's
cool.
exciting. Yeah.
It
Like you said,
is.
it gets that those juices flowing again to
Yeah,
perform
yeah.
well.
And I
So
get a
yeah,
lot
man.
of, I get a lot of coaches that reach out and say, man, this is so cool. I can't wait to do this with my daughter and stuff like that. And for me, I think I'm one of like the first dads that truly has played flag football with his daughter. Everybody talks about like their sons, right? You've played football with your
Right.
sons, like George, right? Plays with his
Yeah.
sons.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about playing with their sons, but I think I gotta be like one of the first guys
Agree.
to play with his daughter in tournaments and just in anything really. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that. Setting that tone so that other
And
guys
playing
can
at
do
a
it.
high level too. So that's even more
Right,
exciting
right,
too. It's not like
right.
she's like, okay, catch it. You're throwing her
Right.
nice
We're
passes.
we're
She's making
we're talking
moves.
about she's right, exactly. Like
Hell
she's
yeah.
playing against high level, athletes who've been playing the game for a long time and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool to see her development.
Yeah. Dude, this is kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to do this thing here or how this came to be. I mean, obviously we talk offline and we see each other a lot, but
Right.
it's like, man, for the camera, this is one of the reasons why I think there's a story to every person. Everybody's got a nice story. And, as we know, there's so much outside of the X's and O's. in our community of flag football that is like I just feel that that needs to be heard, man. It needs to be seen. And there's just so many cool stories and how this came to be and how it's growing and all the potential that's happening. It's just, man, it's a really cool time. And I felt like this is a really good opportunity to put something together and just how everything happened, how I met the partners that I'm working with, how they're helping me and how they're making this possible too. So I just figured, man, let's do this. And they're
Yeah,
in
for
too, because
sure.
once I they're doing so the people I'll tell you real quick. So the people that I'm working with, they're working on uh a documentary outside of it's actually tackle football based upon some Florida guys that have gone from Pop Warner to high school to college and then pros. So they're working on that. And as I was talking to them, I started telling them about flag football, what's going on. They were like, holy cow, man, this is like a whole different thing that's
Hmm.
happening. And I filled them in. And
Hmm.
then they called me back a couple of weeks later. I wasn't even pitching them anything. I was just talking about flag.
Hmm.
And they're like, "Hey, Manny, would you want to do something?" I was like, "Hell yeah, I want to do something. Let's
Right.
make this happen, man." And brother, thankfully, through the years, I've had an awesome experience playing in multiple areas, meeting people, and have good relationships with a lot of people. So it's like, man, I felt like let's do this. Let's make the best of it. We might end up going to Germany. We actually started talking about that yesterday, so I might end up going to Germany and see you over there. Yeah, that's why I asked you when do you get there? Because I was like,
Yeah,
hold
so
up.
we leave the ninth.
Yeah,
I don't know when we exactly get there. I just know we
yeah,
leave New Jersey the ninth. I would think we get to the same time, maybe not their Tuesday morning or what, or the 10th in the
yeah.
morning or whatever. But yeah, that's when we leave. And
Yeah, hell yeah.
I think we play the 13th and the 14th. I think that's how that's worked out. I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I see too on there. I got in the schedule, but I didn't see the dates on it. I just saw like the actual times of the game supposedly,
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we might make it out there, man. It'll be
That's
cool. And
cool.
if
That's
yeah,
cool.
I know it's pretty cool. So I want to talk to all of you guys up there in person.
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously it won't be like any game stuff. It's just like in between games at the
Hmm.
hotel lobby, all that kind of
Hmm.
stuff.
Hmm.
Really,
Hmm.
all the stuff that I was just telling you about. So
Hmm.
anyhow, let me get right to it, Willie. I won't take up too
Sure.
much of your time, brother. Do me a favor because we could talk all day. Do me a favor if you could just introduce yourself, your name, what you've done in flag as a player, as a coach, just something like 30, 45 seconds so I could clip it. That way I have it for the film.
Okay.
And then we'll go into our conversations from there. Thank you, brother.
Willy Perez. Been around flag football since the age of 19. I'm a little older than that now, but I've been around the game for a while. I've been coaching flag for about 5 years. I think a lot of people might know the story now that I got into coaching because of my daughter. She's the one that brought me into that field. Never thought about it. I was a baseball coach. Now coaching on Team USA. Started with the 15U kids, and then now I've worked my way up to the men's national team. I also coach at the collegiate level at Baker University, women's sevens, which is super exciting. So just around the game of flag. I'm still around the game of flag, and it's a career that's been built for me that mm, has just allowed me to experience some amazing things.
Yeah, agreed, man. Dude, and I feel like I've known you since you were 19. When
Yeah,
when did you start flag football? How did you get into flag football?
man. I mean, I started playing in Hialeah at Sparks Park. Some friends came up and they were like, "Hey, you want to play some flag football?" And I'm like, "Flag football? I didn't even know what it was."
Yeah,
And they were like, "Yeah, come on, show up." And I'm like, "Okay." So I show up, and the guys I was playing with, none of them could throw. So I was a baseball player growing up. So they were like, "Hey, you play quarterback?" And I'm like, "Sure." And I put some flags on, and I remember just everybody struggling to grab my flag. And I was like, "This is fun." And what I liked about it was we would play tackle too, but tackle would beat me up a little bit, right? And
yeah,
so this flag stuff was great because I wasn't getting beat up, and I was able to run longer and further, and not have to worry about getting hit all the time. So um I loved it. And then they were like, "Hey, there's a league in Amelia Earhart Park at that time." And I was like, "Okay." And they're like, "I don't know anything about that, but sure, I'll sign up. I'll play, no problem." It was 4-on-4. And I'm like, "Man, if I'm killing my friends as a quarterback, man, I'm going to kill anybody who shows up on the field." And man, this is I show up first play. I'm in the end zone. They snap me the ball. I'm in shotgun, whatever. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to kill this nerd that's rushing me." And I don't remember who it was, but he sacked me first play. And I'm like, "Oh crap." and it was a safety. So I'm like, all right, all right, all right. He got lucky. And then the very next drive, I get the ball back. I'm in shotgun. I'm gonna kill this guy first, and then I'm gonna throw it. And he sacked me again, and I was really upset. So that was my introduction to competitive flag for the first time. And ever since then, I've just fallen in love with playing it at the quarterback position. I've done other things like receiver, rusher, those kind of things, but quarterback has always been just where I felt the most comfortable. And
Yeah.
that's, I mean, playing against you guys, I played against you guys a ton of times, watching
Bro,
Georgie
like crazy.
and
Yeah.
Trunky and Emilio
And Rick and all these guys too.
and
Yeah.
Rick and Carlos. I used to watch those guys and be like, man, why are they
Yeah.
so good? Why those teams are so dominant? And I would just watch the quarterbacks. I was super obsessed with just getting better as a quarterback and understanding what those guys do differently that I don't do that helps me struggle. A lot of it was, I mean, you guys had great teams around you and great players, right? And
Yeah. Yeah.
I played with a lot of really good players. Um, a lot of players that were good friends of mine that have become amazing friends for me. But your teams were so different and
Yeah.
just to every athlete you guys had on the field, and it made quarterbacks' lives so much easier. That was
Oh,
one
for
of the
sure.
things I noticed. One of the things I noticed right off the bat. But just the way they call plays and the things they never forced a lot of things. They were so smart. Like George was so smart with the football. Rick was
Yeah.
so smart with the football.
Yeah.
Emilio and Carlos and those guys were so smart with the football and they had good arm strength. They knew how to pick apart defenses. And 4-on-4 was a lot about just man matchups, right? We create man
Yeah.
matchups, and my guy was better than your guy. So it was so I was so involved in just looking at those guys and just trying to see how I can get better. And then as the years passed, I got better and better and learned more and more and where I'm at right now. And a lot of things I learned by watching those guys and things that I've learned is what I put into my coaching.
Yeah.
My coaching is literally how I used to play. It's literally
Yeah.
what I do right now. I coach every kid at quarterback to see the game the way I see it and the way I used to see it and how I see it now and just teach them the tricks that I used to use when it was a tall rusher or when it was a fast rusher or whatever. Just the little tricks I used to use. Um, that's how I coach it. So
Yeah. It's so
it's
interesting how from I coach the same way, but there's like a moment that you go from teaching that way, right? From like you teaching from your experience, but then you get that player that you're like, oh my gosh, why aren't they grasping? And then you like evolve as a coach, right? I'm sure you've gone
hmm
through that or going
hmm
through it. But it's like, yeah, at first you start teaching it from your perspective, and then you're like, wait a second. If they're not grasping, this is not working, something I got to coach a little different. So like I'm
hmm
sure as a coach, you evolved that way. And by the
yeah.
way, I got to give you credit before I forget, man, because dude, I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, but heavy hitters
Mhm.
tell me like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you were with that team for such a long time and you
hmm
guys were always good, but you guys were like on the lower level. And then like, man, you
hmm
hit a stride that, dude, I mean, to the point that you got to win a national championship with Don't Sleep. So it's like,
hmm
kind of tell me a little bit about that because we've never talked about that, but you were always like a solid team here in Miami. You always played great, but then yeah, might maybe run into like one of the other teams like ourselves or Emilio, and then that always was an issue. But then, man, you guys put it all together for like a solid couple years that were just a top level team. I mean, the best in the nation.
Man, heavy hitters. I give a lot of credit to his Nardo. He was kind of like the guy that put that together for me. He came out looking for me, and he was like, "Hey, I need you to play quarterback for me." And we ended up having a really good relationship and a good friendship. I mean, he walked to my wedding and everything. I mean,
Yeah,
he's been one
good
of
dude.
those guys for me.
Yeah,
Um, but man, those teams were scrappy. That heavy hitter team was scrappy. We were always trying to match up against you guys and whoever else we would play. So we would always be looking for athletes who are willing to come and play with us. And we went through a time where we were getting all kinds of guys to come play for us, but the core was always the same, right? It was Isnardo, me, Chino played for us for a little bit. We had Derek for a little bit, little Derek,
yeah,
and things like that. So we would just grow and build with who we had, and then we just went with who was available at the time because
yeah,
oddly enough, it was hard to get guys to commit, man. It was hard. And it's always
yeah.
been hard to get guys to commit to
Always, yeah,
tournaments and things like that. Um, and then it kind of just, I took a break from flag for a little while. It was a little bit overwhelming for me at some point. And I got into golf and other things, and I needed a break from flag. And then I came back to flag, and then that's when Don't Sleep started, and I got with Kevin, and Kevin and Coco and Trick and Jerry and that team, and man, we built something pretty fast, pretty quick, just
Yeah.
based on our experiences. Because I mean, I think Coco and Trick were like the younger guys that we were kind of just trying to grow in the game. But Jerry was a veteran, right? Kevin was a veteran. I was a veteran. You know, we had some veteran guys. We added Andy, who was super fresh in the
Yeah.
game, and we got to teach him. And bro, we just put it all together for a run there, and won ourselves a national championship, beating Wet and Dirty for the first time. We had never beaten Wet and Dirty, and so to play them in that championship game and beat them, and I mean
Yeah.
everything just came together for us to win. I mean we played. We were such a close knit team, and I think a lot of teams didn't like playing us because of our style of how we played. We were pretty dynamic with Kevin and Andy, and all the movement that we did, which is basically all the things I do now.
Yeah.
You know, how I coach it, and my play calling, and all that is. I always used to know how much of a pain in the butt we were to cover, because you know when you have Kevin and Andy moving around the backfield, worrying about who's going to touch the ball, and then you have a guy like Trick running downfield. We had Debo at the time too. I mean,
Too. Yeah.
we we
It's
we
crazy.
we had a good group, right? And then when
Yeah.
we won with Don't Reap, I mean, we had Fro at there, and then we had D Rock, who was a beast until he got hurt. So I mean,
Even more.
yeah, we had a solid team, and it was a team that just we went undefeated that tournament. We played great. We didn't care about anybody who was in our way. We were just going to play, and it was pretty special that time, and it meant a lot more because of what happened a few months later with Coco. So for
Yeah.
us, you know, that tournament was, for me, it was God saying, here, we know what's going to happen in a few months here, but this one's a special moment for all of you to celebrate. And Coco got to feel that, and we got to feel that with him, and it was pretty special for us. Um,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. So and then we kept playing for a little while there, and but then I got into coaching, and I fell in love with coaching, and I kind of took a back seat to actually playing as much as I used to, and started coaching high school and South Florida Elite, and then college came in, and then it was like, man, it was just hard for me to find time to play again. And so,
Yeah.
you know, I know Kev has played with other teams, and Andy plays with other teams, and so does Trick and Jerry. So those guys are still playing just with other teams. But that run we had for about 2-3 years is pretty special.
It was, man. It was. I remember playing against you guys and being like,
Yeah.
damn, y'all got real. Like, I think we played, it might have been maybe right before or maybe after. I can't remember. It was like a Thanksgiving. Oh, it was before.
Hmm.
It was before because I remember Coco. I remember playing Coco had like, it was like a tip ball somewhere.
Yeah.
Damn, it's coming back to me now. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
remember it being like, whoa, man, these guys are like, it was like a moment of like,
Yeah.
okay, these guys are playing really well, man.
Right.
Like it was high level. And I knew you guys were going into, because, I've seen, you've been around so long that I was like, you see when people click and you know how other out of town teams play. I'm like, oh, I can see you guys just giving everybody from out of town a headache. And then you might
Hmm.
struggle a little bit when you play against familiarity. People are familiar with you. But even then, you guys were just clicking that weekend. You guys tore
Yeah.
everything apart. So it was awesome to see. I wasn't surprised. It did surprise me how you guys beat Wet and Dirty, though. I'll tell you that much because I was like, holy cow, man, you guys would like that just showed you how much on point you guys
Hmm.
were. You guys totally just played so great defensively and offensively, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was
That
a well
was that
earned
was a
championship.
tournament
Yeah.
that we just clicked on all cylinders. We played a perfect tournament, really, in reality. The guys tell me all the time, they're like, Willie, I think you went 20 for 21 in that game throwing in
Oh,
the
that's
championship game, man.
crazy.
I don't think about
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
just played, but you know, it was easy when you had a guys like Derek and Fro running underneath, and then you have D Rock going over the top. Like,
Yeah.
pick your poison of what you wanna cover. So I would
Right.
just take whatever, and that was something I always used to struggle with, right? Is taking what the defense gives me. And I know it's a super cliche thing. Everybody always coaches that. Take what the defense gives you. And I say that all the time. But you know, as quarterbacks, man, you want to take the
Of
deeper
course.
shot, the big playmaking
Yeah.
shot. And you know, so that I would put me in bad situations a lot of times. So I had to learn to do that. But
Yeah.
you know, it was a special time for sure with that team and that group. And I thank God for those moments, because I was able to learn so much about flag and about myself that has helped me in my coaching. So those guys are special, and that run we had for 2-3 years was pretty special.
Yeah, it was. Willie, so you talked about it a little bit. about coaching. So you've been coaching for about 5 years. So how did you get into coaching? Like, what was your first experience as a coach?
Practice under the lights in a parking lot. That was my first ever practice for flag. I've
What was
said
it
this
for?
story. I've said this story a few times because it's truly the what has opened doors for me in the coaching world. And I've told my daughter, I've said this story. I got into coaching because of her. It was 2020. It was COVID year. She was in middle school. She was a quarterback. She played one game at quarterback. She lost that game. She played okay, but she was so green with regards to understanding how to play quarterback in sevens. Shoot, I was even green. I didn't understand sevens too much at the time.
Yeah,
Because I was a baseball coach at the time, and I knew more fives than I knew sevens. I
of
knew we had
course.
played AFFL and other things, but the in-depth understanding of how to play sevens was different, right? And
Yeah,
I saw her playing, and she threw a pick in overtime that cost them the game. And that was her last game playing in middle school because of COVID. And she came over to me and she talked to me, and she was like, "Dad, I really want to keep playing. Like, I want to get better. I want to play." And I'm like, I mean, I don't know what to do. So I was just like, listen, put a team together, grab a team, get, 7, 8 people, grab a team. I don't care who they are. I don't care what they do. I don't care. And she's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And I'll find somewhere to play. I'll ask around and let's see what happens. And she's like, okay. So I knew Lewis from Red Zone. I knew he had done youth leagues. So I reached out to him and said, "Hey, I want to put a team in a youth league." And she's like, "Okay." He's like, "Okay." And I asked my daughter. I said, "Okay, what's our team?" And she's like, "Well, we got 3 girls and 4 boys." I'm like, "So it's a co-ed team." Okay, perfect. And I'm like, "All right, fine." And then I reached out to Lewis and say, "Hey, I got this co-ed team. It's middle school kids. Where can I play? Can you put me anywhere? Like, can I play?" And he's like, "Well, I'll put you in the boys division, the 14U boys division." I'm like, "Okay, let's do that."
yeah,
And we had so the games were on Saturday. It's Friday. This is when I get Jeff to come coach with me. He was super excited. He's like, "I'll coach the defense." I'm like, "Perfect. I'll coach the offense. We'll figure this out." And
yeah.
we got to Cooper City. We were in Cooper City at the time. We showed up on the field. We're like, "Hey, let's run a little practice." They kicked us off the field because they're like, "Hey, you got to have a permit. You got to have insurance." This whole thing that I was so
So
new to
stupid.
that I'm like, "What are
Yeah,
we talking
yeah,
about right now?" I'm like, "All right." So the parking lot had lights. So what do you think we did? We right
yeah.
there in the parking lot with all the space. We ran plays. We threw slants. My daughter was the quarterback. The center was a girl, and one of our receivers was a girl. Our defense was mostly guys, except for the linebacker was a girl. So, um, and that's it. We went into practice, right? And then Saturday morning comes up. We knew there's always open field space, so we got there about an hour and a half early and said, "Hey, we're gonna run through some stuff before our game." Um, I had a little playbook for Ava, and it was all drawn out plays. It wasn't like what I do now, where I put it on a computer and like it
And
was
print it
literally
out.
with a
Yeah,
pen and a little box, and I'm circle one. Like it was super, super. Like I didn't know because I never had done anything like that. So I
yeah.
just did things for her to make things easy for her. But that's how it started, and we went to our first game, and I'm not sure how we did. I don't remember. I think we went 1-1 that day. I think we lost the first one and won the second one. But
Okay,
after that, we kind of got a little bit understanding of what we're doing, and we started beating a lot of boy teams until we
that's
got to
awesome.
playoffs. And then they had some really athletic guys on their boys teams, and they murdered us like 40 to
Sure.
7 or something like that. But
Yeah.
but that was the start of what. And it's so funny because our team name was Don't Nap. It wasn't Don't Sleep. It was Don't Nap because it was the kid version.
Yeah, I like that.
So they started playing. Then we played in a tournament at Red Zone, and we won that tournament. Like we won the tournament, and we had
That's great.
parents upset. We had players upset from the other team because we had girls on our team.
Yeah.
And dude, how it's all happened so fast. And then South Florida Elite started, and those 3 girls that were
Going to
playing
that.
together, they went to South Florida Elite. 2 kids, I'm from that team, from that Don't Nat team. I coach at Baker now, which is my daughter and TT.
That's crazy.
Dude, it's one of them. The other girl she was playing at Daytona. She would have come to Baker, but she was like, "Coach, I just want to be a firefighter." So she went to Daytona State for a year. And now she's becoming a firefighter. So amazing for her.
Yeah.
K-Cup, and just man, it's crazy how it's turned out. Like I got into South Florida Elite. Amanda started doing her camps, and I walked up to Amanda and I said one time, I said, "Hey, you got over 100 kids here. Have you ever thought about maybe doing like a travel team?" I didn't even know that existed, right? And I said,
Yeah.
"A travel program," and she's like, "I don't know. I never thought about it." And I'm like, "Well, maybe we should because I mean, look at all these girls that are here."
I remember
And
that.
she
Yeah.
goes, she came to me and she goes, "Are you willing to coach it?" And I'm like, "Sure." And then I asked, and then I
Yeah.
asked Jeff, I go, "Jeff, you ready for this?" And he's like, "Yeah." And we started and we had a tryout and we had like 40 girls sign up. We had two teams at the time, 15U and 17U. Jeff and I, we were coaching both teams, and that's how I got involved with travel. And then from travel, I got a job coaching at the high school level, at Monsignor Pace, and I was there, and I was like, oh crap, how it all started again. From something so little and don't nap to then travel to now high school, and
Crazy.
then I knew college was around, so then I was like, oh man, maybe college one day. And 2 years into high school, I got an offer for college, and I said, I didn't think it was going to come this early. I
That's
thought it was going to take a little bit
crazy.
more time, and so I took that, and then along the way with that
So
was
is
Team
this your
USA.
second season right now or your third?
No, it's going to be my fourth. I've
Your
been there
fourth.
3 years already,
Damn.
man. Time
Oh
flies,
my
dude.
gosh, it does.
Time
Dude, it
flies.
flies by, man.
It,
Holy
it
cow.
flies. I
It
still
feels
sit
like it's
there,
season three, but it's
dude.
season four.
Man,
It
who
goes
you
by
telling,
fast,
bro?
bro.
I
I
got I
know,
got
right?
kids that are graduating now that I recruited my first year. They're going to be graduating this year, and it's just insane to think about.
Wow, that's so
We've been
awesome.
together for 4 years, and these kids are going to
Yeah,
graduate now. So, man,
that's
it's
awesome.
just a whirlwind of opportunity,
Yeah,
and all because I took a chance to coach my daughter, who came up to me and said, "Hey, I would love to continue doing this," and look at where it's ended up. And I didn't know
yeah,
the plan that I was supposed to take. I didn't know what I was supposed to do with my life, and where I was supposed to be, and now I know that I'm in the right place. I'm in the right realm. I'm in the right circles. I'm doing what I think God put me on this earth to do, which is to coach football and to coach flag, and to kind of be a positive light for kids who need it,
yeah,
and that's
man.
what I focus on. So,
Yeah, bro.
um, yeah, it's
Dude,
it's it's pretty cool. The story is pretty cool how it
it
started
is
and
awesome,
and where
man.
I'm
You
at.
know, I've known you for 20 years probably, and I didn't
Yeah,
go know into that depth. But
right,
what if I'm seeing it now from the outside, I really believe that if you don't resist those opportunities, I think
right,
doors just keep opening that way. I do
right.
feel that way. I mean, look, even with this, what I'm doing with this project, like from the moment that I talked about it, my wife heard it. She's like, make it happen. She's like, go, I got your back. Like, make it happen. And dude, just doors and doors just keep opening.
Hmm.
And that feel like that's what happened to you. It's like your daughter opened that first door and then you walk through and then you were like, oh, there's another door, there's another door, and another door. And now, please, you haven't even talked about the USA stuff. So how did you end up with the USA? Who brought you in or did you reach
You
out?
know,
Tell me about it.
dude. So I was coaching South Florida League. I was at the high school level, and Coach Langford reaches out to me,
Yeah, Chris.
and he's like, he was the women's national team coach at the time.
Yeah.
2023, I think, is when that started. And he goes, "Hey, I'm looking for an assistant coach, and a lot of these women that I'm coaching have always said your name and said how amazing you are coaching
Wow.
women's teams and things out the other." And I was like, "Man, I'd be an honor. Holy heck,
Yeah.
especially for me. I had some rough issues with USA because I had tried out one time, and I was the only quarterback they cut out of the five that were there, and I was one of the ones that they cut, and that always hit me kind of the wrong way, and I was
Of
upset
course.
with USA and the whole thing. I just wanted an opportunity to try out and see what happens, but um, moving forward, it was tough for me. But then I never thought about the coaching aspect, and then that's when he reached out, and I said absolutely, and then. Right before I was going to get hired or do anything with them, he got fired. So then the whole process changed, right? So then I applied for the women's head job, not thinking about youth because at the time I didn't know there was youth and this whole thing. So I applied for the women's job. I didn't get that. They called me and said, "Hey, we're not going to give you that, but we want to give you the 15U job." And man, Manny, I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I was so upset. I was upset. I was upset.
Sure.
I felt like a slap in the face. That I was not taking the adult women's, that they were going to give me the 15U, and they have 15U and 17U. I'm like, man, I deal with with high schoolers. So why not 17U? Like why not the
Yeah.
older kids that I'm
Right.
dealing with in college or whatever? And so, I wasn't going to take it. I had taken it. I said I was going to take it. And then after thought process, I was like, man, this is like a slap in my face. I'm really offended, blah, blah, blah. Super personal. I took it super personal. And again, you got to have the right people in your life to push you forward, right? And so that was my wife. She came into my life, right? And for reasons that you still think about and you're like, man, I wonder why. And I really truly believe that she's in my life because she's the one that pushed me forward with this USA thing. She's like, don't quit. There's a reason why God wants you there.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you need to be there right now. And man, I was so angry, and a lot of that lashing. I get emotional because I think about those times, and I think about that a lot because I was angry at that time, man. And if it's not for her caring about me enough and loving me enough to just sit there and say, "Hey, I got your back. You can get through this." There's a reason why God wants you there. You got to trust His path. You got to trust His what He has for you. Um, and I said, "Okay," and I took the 15-year job, and I was there for 2 years. We won gold medals, and Manny, it was probably the most enlightening part of my coaching career was being with those young kids, man. I got to meet two coaches that have changed my perspective of how I do things, which is Matt Hernandez and Josh Saunders. I learned about what it's like to be a professional coach with those guys. I didn't know
Yeah.
how to do that. I didn't know
Yeah.
how to be a professional coach. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
learned from those guys um, how to do things the right way, how to lead, how to create discipline and all those things. I learned it from those two guys working with them for 2 years. Um, and so the more and more that I think about it, the more and more I realize I was not prepared for that adult job. I think I would have taken that adult job and I would have bombed. As good as
Mm.
I thought I was, as good
Sure.
as I think I am with the X's and O's, it's all the other stuff that comes with it that I wasn't prepared for.
Yeah.
And it was God telling me, "Hey, I'm not ready," and that you
Yeah.
got to keep waiting and you got to keep learning. And I have. And then now it's gotten me to the men's job, and here I am with the men's, and it's been an opportunity that has changed my life because now I'm a professional coach the way that I look at it, right? Everything that's asked of me is to be a professional, right?
Yeah.
How I carry myself on and off the field, and I had to teach me a lot because I was a super emotional coach, bro. And on 15U, I had Matt in my ear when I wanted to yell at them referees. He'd be like, "Hey," he tapped me on the shoulder. He's like, "Not here, not here," and I would
Yeah.
I would have to calm down because
Yeah.
as a Team USA coach, right, you can't lose your stuff on the sideline.
Nope.
You can't. You got to have a certain bravado of how you carry yourself and things like that. So I've learned a lot about that, and I've taken that into my college coaching and wherever I coach. I've taken that. So and I'm still working on it because
Yeah.
it's hard. I'm an emotional coach. I'm an emotional guy when it comes to how I protect my kids and my teams and things like that. So, but I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready for the adults, and I was there for 2 years, and I learned so much. I lost a game, which I think I was the first youth team to ever lose a game at the national level when we
Mm.
lost in the pool play to Mexico. It taught me a lot about who I needed to be as a coach, how I was going to inspire the girls to make sure we don't lose again. I learned so much during those situations. And then we ended up beating that team. We made them quit, actually, in the championship game. The coaches were like, "No, we've
Nice.
had enough." With 2 minutes left, we were up like 30, and they were like, "Look, we're
Nice.
done." So, I
Hell
mean,
yeah.
just, you learn from losses more than you learn from wins, right? That's what everybody says.
100%. Yeah.
Um, but all those things prepared me to be on this men's team and to understand what it's like to be a professional and do things in a professional manner in a professional way. So again, I'm thankful for my wife because if it's not for her, I'm not in the situation. And it's so funny because I think people forget to say that it's easy for me to just sit there. Yeah, I earned this, I got this, and I did this. But in reality, bro, I'm not here if it's not for my daughter and if it's not for my wife because
Yeah.
I didn't do things on my own. It was their guidance and it's their belief in me and their trust in me that has gotten me to where I'm at. So I wanted to quit USA. I promise you that. And she didn't
Yeah.
let me. She was the one that was like, "Hey, you got to stick this out. God has a plan for you. Stick it out." And I'm like, "Okay." So
Hell yeah, man. That's
it's,
powerful story
it's,
right there. And that's what I'm talking about is those type of things. Like I've known
Yeah.
you for a long time, and we're close. We see each other play pickleball and
Hmm.
everything. It's like I didn't know
Hmm.
that story about your wife telling you that, but you see what I mean? Those are the things that I want everybody to know because there's
Yeah.
so much to this that everybody has a story, man, and I want to
Right.
share it with everybody. So thanks for sharing that with me, brother. I
For
know
sure.
I could tell you're emotional. And by the way, I
Hmm.
do believe that God has placed you where you are because I think eventually you might have that opportunity arise again because you
Hmm.
do have to become that person before you are that person. So you didn't have all those skills, all those attributes, all those experiences that you've learned how to behave like that person that you're gonna
Hmm.
be. I believe in that. I
Hmm.
really do. And because you're so passionate about this, obviously, and you're gonna be a great future coach that you already are, a current amazing coach. You're gonna be even better in just a couple years, man. So stick with it, brother. I
Appreciate it.
think we are one of the
I
great
am.
ones.
I
So
am. I take. I learn as much as I can through every year that I'm in, waiting for the next opportunity, wherever that is, wherever God opens up doors, whether it's in college at the D1 level, the D2 level, whatever God has for me. Maybe in the pro league, maybe Team USA or somewhere else. Who knows, right? I'm available for wherever God wants to put me next. So,
yeah. By the way, tell me a little bit about that. So because I know you were recently up in
hmm,
I think it was Orlando, right? That a couple weeks
yeah,
ago you were just there.
yeah.
What
Tomorrow
was that
Sports,
about?
yeah.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that. What
Man,
were they
that
doing out there?
was so. It's Tomorrow Sports is the organization that's going to be putting together the pro league for flag football, and
Is that
so
backed by the NFL?
it's backed by the NFL. Yep, and
Nice. That's
so
awesome.
getting to know who Tomorrow Sports is and getting to know what their vision is for the pro league was pretty eye opening. Um, and the reason why it's eye opening for me is because remember we were a part of AFFL and we thought that
Yeah.
was going to be an amazing pro league and everybody was
Yeah.
saying all the right things and so these guys are not saying those things. These guys are actually saying things that are beneficial to the athlete, to the coaches and the fan base, which I think is so amazing. Tomorrow Sports is really putting in the time to figure out a version of flag football that's going to be amazing for the athletes. It's going to be amazing for coaches to coach it, and it's going to be amazing for the fan base to fall in love with the sport. And I love that they're really so diligent in trying to determine what is the best version, the best rule set, all those things that they're doing, plus all the other little intricate things that they're putting into this league that are going to come out soon that you guys are all going to hear about very soon that I think are going to be pretty amazing for just the flag community and the people that have been in flag for such a long time. It's pretty exciting what Tomorrow Sports is putting together. I'm really excited to be at the back end of it and kind of just what I was there for was just to help initiate kind of how a coach's mindset is during certain situations. So they were asking, what would you do in this situation? And I would say what I would do, and we would play it out live and see what it looked like on film and things like that. So it's pretty cool. Um, it's pretty cool just to be a part of it as a coach's mindset and just to facilitate those things for them so they can get pretty as much feedback as they can so that they can determine what rules and game style they want to use. So
Yeah.
it
So
was a
they're still
pretty cool
determining.
experience.
They're still
Yeah,
determining the game
they're
style,
doing
or are they going to be
so
finals?
much just to figure it out. They haven't figured out anything yet. They're doing a lot of testing. So what that was just testing of what's the best version of flag. And man,
Mm.
they got they got some pretty cool people working with it, and they're doing some really cool things with regards to figuring out what's the best version of flag. I'm all for it. Whatever they decide, I think it's going to be an amazing product
Yeah.
because they're really taking their time to figure out what the athletes want, what the athletes need, what the coaches want, what the coaches
So
need,
awesome.
and then also what the fan base wants and what the fan base needs. So, as opposed to just being an entity that shows up and says, hey, this is what we're doing, whether you like it or not, this is what we're doing.
They're doing the
These
work.
guys are not taking that route. They're actually taking the route of caring about what everybody needs in order to have a product that lasts a lifetime. And I think this is going to be the real deal, man, for real.
I believe it too. And man, we've seen variations of this in the past.
Right.
You said even up to the AFFL, and I always felt like there was about to happen, right? It always got like
Hmm.
a little extra, like a couple steps further. But what really happened is just we never had that NFL backing, so it was like we were always the little brother, and then we would
Right.
just get pushed to the side because we were like, you guys are just less than. Like it's fun, it's cute, you guys are all right. Go sit over there. It felt like it
I
happened every time, and I feel like now that we got that NFL backing, and we have gotten those, comments by the pros that they're, one of the biggest things that I think happened was Tom Brady coming out and be like, "We got the right athletes representing the U.S. right now."
yeah,
That was huge because
yeah,
there was that battle of constantly like, oh, the NFL guys are better than the flag guys, so they're gonna play them. It's like, dude, this is just a whole nother sport. Like, what are we talking about here? Like,
right,
yeah, could you guys potentially be amazing flag football players? Yeah, but you got to dedicate the amount of time that we have, just like you have to your craft. So the
right.
fact that it happened, and we've seen it happen many times when the NFL guys would play against us and the flag guys, and we will always beat them because there's a skill to flag pulling, there's a skill to avoiding flags,
Absolutely.
there's a skill to route running, and
Hmm.
just everything about flag football is very different. So
Hmm.
I'm so happy to see that Roger Goodell is pushing the NFL flag project and doing these things with the Tomorrow Sport. So, man, thanks for that insight. I was curious
Yeah.
because I had so many flag friends. Like, I was like, I saw TD was there, TB was
Yep.
out there, and I was
Yep.
like, what the? I'm like, are these? Is there a tryout or is there coaches? Like, I was like, whoa, what's going on? Like, it caught
No,
me
it
by
was,
surprise. I knew you were
man,
there.
and I didn't know anything about Tomorrow Sports. So I went in super like clean slate, never had a idea of who they were. And I showed up and for the meetings and got to meet all the executives and things like that and what their vision is for the sport. And I mean, it's going to be amazing when they finally put it all together and all the news starts coming out little by little and you guys all start hearing about it. It's going to be pretty cool, man. And I
Yeah,
think
heck yeah,
a lot of people are going to fall in love, and a lot of people are going to be like, "This is it. Let's invest time into this." And I'm hoping
yeah,
the fan base falls in love with it because I think it's going to be an exciting version of flag, whichever route they decide. But it's going to be a fun version of flag, regardless.
yeah. It looks awesome. I believe I saw
Yeah,
it was going to be six men's team and six women's for right now, kind
I
of
think
where they
that's the
were leading
start.
at the
Yeah,
moment. Yeah,
yeah,
which is damn good for a pro sport. I mean, can they get
yeah,
more? Yeah,
man. Yeah,
probably. I'm
for
sure, but
sure.
it's about sponsorships and money
Correct,
and things.
correct. It's
So
it's just a starting point.
start pretty dang
Starting
good,
point for
man.
sure.
Dude, Willie, man, I'm excited about what everything is happening. I mean, as you and I have seen this sport go so many ways, grow in so many ways. I mean, we went from playing 4-man to playing 7-man to playing 5-man. Just like
Mm-hmm.
we've seen all variations of flag,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
man, to see it like even go a step further because I mean, because I love this game, man. So I always saw the good in it. I always saw the potential it could have. And I always like, okay, this could be a high school sport. And then I saw it when, 10, 15 years ago when I heard Mexico had, collegiate sports and high school scholarships. I was just blown away. I'm like, oh, wait a second. We don't have anything like this in the US. I mean, could we get it one day? And I'm seeing it happen now. So I see it
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like just so excited about what's going
Yeah,
on. But I'll tell you this, I never saw the Olympics. So that's
I
like a
know.
whole nother
I
level now that
know.
you just, oh man, it's
It's
dude,
that
goosebumps. I'm
and
gonna
and
get, I
I
get
was I was
goosebumps.
watching the World Cup, right? And you watch the pageantry of the World Cup and you watch how
Yeah,
how the countries fall in love with everything and just to know that that's going to be kind of what the Olympics is like, right? The opening
yep,
ceremonies, the
yep, crazy,
standing on the stage with a gold
sick.
medal, like just to know that I'm hoping to be just in that coaching realm as an Olympic coach. Like, damn,
Yeah,
that's the epitome of our sport. Like,
yeah,
what else
nah,
can someone do in a sport
yep.
besides
The
playing for an
ultimate
Olympic
achievement, man.
medal? Like, that's it. Like,
The ultimate
you know.
achievement, man. It really
So
is.
I still think about it and I pinch myself and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm on an Olympic team right now. I know we're 2 years away. I got to keep doing what I'm doing, right? So I can keep staying there. But
Yeah,
there's always the you got to keep doing and you keep achieving and keep learning because nothing is ever set in stone. But just to know that if I keep on this path and we keep doing what we're doing as a coaching staff, I mean, chances are we're going to be on that field and in opening ceremonies in LA for the Olympics. Like, dude, a kid from Hialeah playing flag football in Sparks Park to now coaching an Olympic team with some of the best athletes
crazy.
in the world. Like,
So much awesome. That's awesome, man.
man, I
Yeah, yeah. Hard to put
don't have
into
words
words. It's
for it.
hard to put
Other,
into words. Yeah, it's
it,
hard to
it's
put into
hard
words, man.
for it's hard to put into words, and all I can say is thank you to my wife because,
Yeah,
and I keep saying that, man, because if it's not for her, and
yeah,
I, I, I wouldn't be on an Olympic team. I would have to really struggle if I wanted to get on one because, Um, man, I didn't. It's crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah. Look at this also, man. Brother, well, so man, that's it. I don't want to eat up too much of your time. It's almost 45 minutes.
You
We could
cool.
talk for another 2 hours for sure. But man, for sure, Willie, I appreciate you a lot, brother. When
Hmm.
we have this opportunity, man, when hopefully this moves forward with our funding now, brother, I want to definitely highlight you.
For
You as a
sure.
person, number one, but I want to highlight your team. I want to go up to Baker. I want to go up to, get with the South Florida Elite too. I want to highlight all those because that's kind of part of everything that we're putting together. Is that we want to show the girls like the road to getting to that ultimate goal of the Olympics. So we want to show, the local leagues. We want to get everybody. I already got with Kevin. I talked to him already here.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
want to
he
go to
told
the
me.
high school. I want to go to the traveling teams. I want to go to the national teams. I want to go to the college teams that is going on now. So I want to put all that together. And you're a huge part of the growth of it, man. You've been a big part of it. So I definitely, if you're willing, to be highlighted, I want to get
Yeah,
you in
absolutely, man. That would be
there.
great. If I can highlight my girls at Baker,
Hell yeah,
I
man.
would love that for them
Yeah.
because I think they deserve it. They've sacrificed, being away from home and being in the middle of nowhere in
Yeah.
the Midwest. And it'd be
Yeah.
cool if they could share their stories of how hard it's been and the
Yeah.
struggle, but also the love for the sport and what they've
Yeah.
been able to accomplish. So
Yeah. And they're
absolutely,
paying their dues,
absolutely.
man. Yeah, I
Yeah, they're
appreciate
paying their
that.
dues and
They're paying
and
their
they're
dues, man.
building
They're helping fund. Yeah.
exactly.
They're
And
helping build this, man. They're
and
helping
hopefully
build this movement.
they're building a career that maybe will one day lead to a pro league that they're going to be able to play
Yeah.
in. So that's
Hell yeah.
that's my new focus for them, not only
Yeah.
Olympics, because some of them do have those aspirations, but some of them
Yeah.
also have the aspirations of maybe playing in a pro league one day. So,
Right.
we got to prepare them for that as a coach.
Dude,
So
it's a tsunami right now. Not even a
I
wave.
know,
It's a
I know
tsunami. There's
it's,
so much happening that like I keep
yeah,
hearing things. I'm like, whoa, that's happening over there. I'm like, that's
yeah,
happening over there. I'm
yeah.
like, dude, there's so much happening that it's
It's a
hard to keep
lot,
up.
man. It's a lot. And
It's
it's
a
super
lot,
exciting.
but it's exciting, man. Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
But brother, man, I appreciate you, man. We'll be
Yep.
in touch, bro. Let's play some
Yeah.
pickleball this week. We'll get it
Sounds
on.
good. Hopefully we got to, man. I need it.
Yes, sir. Me too, man. I appreciate
All
you.
right, bro.
Definitely connect before we head out. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Absolutely.
buddy.
Take
Take
care.
care. Have a good day,
Later.
Willie. Later.
You
Bye.
too.